Hi, this is Arun Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Key Business Partner. Every week, we come to you with a policy analysis, an occasional story, an occasional conversation. But at this time, we bring to you news behind the news. We take three headlines that we think are very important and we analyze the conditions behind those news or what are the circumstances or what is some more information that media houses have not given you. And that is why we'd like you to be with us every day of the week, every weekday, Monday to Friday. And today is the last day of this week. And to make sure that you are always available, please click the subscribe button. Click the like button if you want to. But most important, tell all your friends about us. We bring you things that people don't talk about. And yes, at the end of the show, we even respond to some queries or comments that you have. So please put in your comments. We'll try to respond to one or two or three of them. And today I have my co-anchor, who is Anurag. Welcome, Anurag. It's good to have you with us. And we are going to discuss three titles. And the three titles are: one, the poor state of justice in India; two, IT stocks plunge to a 17-year low; and three, Huawei brings to you AI-powered eyewear. Interesting news items. Okay, let's go to the first one, the state of justice in India. A new report has been brought out on the state of justice in India, and this is the third edition of this report. And what this report tells you is that A, justice is best available in India in the state of Karnataka. Of course, I must clarify, the difference between one state and another is marginal. So Karnataka is the top of the heap, but it doesn't mean that it's got the best justice system. That ought to be there. Karnataka ranks first when it comes to dispensational justice. And what is justice? Justice is looked at on the basis of four parameters. One is the judiciary, which is the court system. The second is the police, because the police is also part of justice. The third is legal aid. And the fourth is basically the environment in which the laws are talked about. But what is interesting is the other chart. Vacancies in Indian judiciary. The top ranker is Uttar Pradesh. These are top 10. No surprises, therefore, that Uttar Pradesh has perhaps the worst system of justice. Although in ranking it comes number 17, in reality, Uttar Pradesh has been pulled up again and again and again by the Supreme Court for either using bulldozer justice or for saying that the rape victim invited rape, or in terms of the number of rapes and the number of acquittals that have taken place, or even the violence between communities in that state. And that is why this report is very useful, because it throws a light on what India ought to be and what it actually is. India, if it has to be what the Prime Minister says, Viksit Bharat, you can't have Viksit Bharat without justice. And the state of justice in India is sad. And while Karnataka has done the best among all the states, overall, the condition of justice in India is not very good. India needs to pull itself by the bootstraps and become better in justice dispensation. And that brings me to the second story. Anurag will talk about the IT sector and the markets. Anurag, could we have you?
Good morning. The IT sector has slumped to its 17 years low in the Nifty 50 index amid the market uncertainties due to Trump's tariff uproar. It now stands at 10.2%. The Nifty IT index has fallen 9.5% so far in April, compared to 1.4% gain in the broader Nifty 50 during the same period. The IT sector's underperformance and its recent dip in the index mirrors its struggle during the lead up to the global financial crisis in 2008. In fact, the sector's weighting is only marginally above record low of 9.7% during the financial crisis in March 2008. In fact, with IT sector slip on Nifty 50 index, it is close to giving up all its relative gains it made during the COVID-19 pandemic and even across 21 years since the index's inception in 2004. It is also the worst start to a year for the IT stocks in over 2 decades. Sir, according to you, what should the investors and the IT employees should expect going ahead in this year?
Thank you, Anurag. A very interesting story and very good observations. Yes, the IT sector has done badly, but I think there are two reasons. One is, of course, Trump. Trump has created havoc across industries, and with the talk of duties, I do not know how software will be slapped with duties. At present it's 10%. It could be higher, and duties have alarmed people because it means that the industry will become more expensive. But even if it becomes expensive, everyone else will become expensive. I think the advantages that India has cannot be wished away. But there's a second reason why, and the second reason is AI. Artificial intelligence has become so powerful that many of the jobs that Indians used to do in the IT sector will become redundant now because they'll be taken over by AI. Coding, for which India employs thousands and thousands of people, will suddenly lose their jobs because of much of the coding will be done with the help of AI. And there's a third reason why. And the third reason is giants like Infosys have had a reduction in profits. Wipro had an increase in profits, but even then could not stand against market forces which forced its prices to come down. TCS seems to be holding ground, but TCS is also one more company which will have to adjust itself. And there are two ways in which the IT sector can save itself. Worldwide, the largest business in IT comes from governments. The governments have to outsource crop management systems, revenue systems, weather systems. In India, even land records have not been fully computerized yet. If the government follows the right policies, the government can create enough jobs, enough incomes for this sector. Unfortunately, the government does not think that way, which is sad because this industry can do very well if only the government were a little more proactive and started farming out its own activities to the IT sector. But thanks, Anurag. Lovely story, great story, and the IT sector is going to have tough days ahead. I come to the third story, which is a story which I like very much, partly because I wear glasses. Huawei has come up with a new product, and that is AI-empowered eyewear. It reminded me of a wonderful statement that Deng Xiaoping made when he was alive. And he said, we build a mousetrap which is good enough, the whole world will stand in a queue outside your door. Huawei has come up with a product which seems to be incredible. It's going to be priced a little over $300, which is the same as an iPhone. And everyone who wants to wear this pair of glasses will have the benefit of video, of audio, and even of translation. So if you go to a foreign country, wear your glasses, you can hear what the foreigner is speaking. Amazing possibilities. And it looks that Trump's ban or no ban, people will come to China to pick up these glasses. When you build a mousetrap that's very good, the whole world will line up before you, before your house. And Huawei is showing it. Please remember, there's a second major product that Huawei's come up with. Last year, when the US was trying to contain Huawei, Huawei came up with its own smartphones without the use of American chips, which was faster, superior than even the iPhone. It was even capable of acting as a sat phone. And that got America worried because now they realized that China had leapfrogged to America even in terms of chip manufacture, its own special design chips. And then when DeepSeek came in, America realized that China was formidable. And that is why I don't think Trump's attempts at trying to control China will work. But as I said, these are the lessons America will have to learn. One of humility, and the second of respecting global trade. When something is made which the world wants, bans will not work. And you'll see that happening once again with Huawei as well. And that brings me to the end of today's news items. And I can take a couple of questions right now. Okay, one question. What is the way to ensure good justice in India? Well, the best way is to reduce the vacancies. First, reduce vacancies. Then bring in quality control and measure out. Trying to bring in quality control when the numbers are not enough will always create a shortage mentality, and there'll be a black market for justice where people will pay for getting justice verdicts very quickly. It'll lead to a corruption of justice. First, fill up the vacancies, then bring in quality control, then bring in police reforms, which are pending for years, and then you work on legal aid. If you don't work on all these together, India will remain a third world country with poor adjudication processes and poor justice for most people. You need to reduce delays, you need to improve the quality of justice. But is the government listening? Recently, when the Supreme Court took a couple of decisions, you had the Vice President criticizing the Supreme Court in the Parliament for judicial overreach. Has the Vice President ever talked about why there are so many vacancies in Uttar Pradesh? Has it talked about the miscarriage of justice through bulldozers or through encounter deaths, encounter killings, or through the postponement of rape cases, or even misrepresenting rape cases, saying that the victim was asking for it? And it's sad that parliamentarians talk about attacking judiciary when actually they should be hauling up the political machinery which is responsible for these crimes in Uttar Pradesh, which has the largest number of judicial vacancies. And this is again a distortion of the way our system works, where parliamentarians talk about things which only do damage justice more than rectify things. There is a second question. Will the Huawei spectacles be available in India? I hope so. But the Indian government, you can't be sure. Remember, WeChat is still banned. And remember, many of the telecom equipment that China manufactures, better equipment, cheaper equipment, which even Singapore uses and Vietnam uses, is not allowed in India. There's a cartel and they want to keep China out. Will Huawei come in? I hope so. It's a lovely product. I would love to have it. Then you don't need to learn a new language, and the language fights in India can disappear. You don't wear a pair of glasses, and if I'm in Tamil Nadu, I understand Tamil. If I'm Bengal, I can answer Bengali. If I'm in Kerala, I understand Malayalam, and they understand me. Half your problems of language will disappear. But then, that is the government. I'll end the session today over here. A few things. This is Friday. We are not going to have a transmission tomorrow and on Sunday. So have a great weekend. Come back refreshed on Monday. Same time, same place. Second, the usual chant. Click the subscribe button. Click the like button. But most important, tell your friends about us. I hope you like today's session and look forward to seeing you on Monday next week. Take care. Enjoy the weekend.